number 3, live and local. We always save the best for last, and so it is today. Ron Quince joining us, better known as Ron Q. He is an independent candidate for Congress in CD1, and he joins us. Ron, good morning. You've been busy, my friend.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. You have been real busy. I know you weren't a part of the primary election on June 11th, but you've been you and your legion of volunteers have been real busy. Explain what the last couple of weeks have been about for you and your campaign.
Well, technically right now, what we're doing is every single day, the number of supporters that we have are growing. We're getting a lot more volunteers, and everybody really wants to change in District 1.
I know that the headline over the last couple of days, Ron Quince will appear on the general election ballot for Nevada Congressional District 1 as an independent, nonpartisan candidate. First of all, is that true? I've seen a couple of press releases out on that. Is that true? Is it a done deal now?
Yes, absolutely. What I did actually when I filed on March 15, I did registered as a independent, nonpartisan candidate. And in order for you to do that, you need to have a number of signatures for a petition for you to be in the ballot. And I'm fortunate enough that I got those numbers and actually a lot more. And that gives me the fact that people want a nonpartisan candidate to beat Dina Tibbs this coming election.
Explain the thought process. I mean, this is out there. This doesn't happen very often that you see a candidate pull back from the Republican Party and essentially run as an independent, nonpartisan candidate. What was the thought process behind that?
Well, my team and I, first what we did is we did a lot of phone calls, a lot of surveys, and of course the math doesn't lie that there's at least 42% of registered nonpartisan voters in CD1. Most of them are, of course, they came from both parties. Some of them used to be Republicans, some of them used to be Democrats. And what I have realized and heard from these people are they're tired of both parties. Nothing's getting done in Congress. The only thing they do is argue, and nobody's meeting across the aisle. And that is not the country that America should be. America is supposed to be, I know we have our differences and we have our similarities, but at the end of the day, we need to come across the aisle and do what's best for the American people.
I know a lot of people will probably be asking as they're driving to work this morning. You're registering, obviously. You're on the ballot as an independent, a nonpartisan. But who will you caucus with in the House of Representatives? Democrats or Republicans?
As previously that we've done this interview, I always tell people that I'm still a conservative, independent, nonpartisan candidate, and I would caucus to the Republican Party if they allowed me to. And, I've seen that there's not that much history of them, caucusing with independent congressmen. But hopefully it changed this time because they know I'm a conservative candidate.
I know that you mentioned the 42%, which I think that's huge. 42% are independent or nonpartisan, and I guess my question is: is the messaging going to be different as you market yourself to this 42%, a huge number of voters?
Well, absolutely, because of course, like the nonpartisan, registered nonpartisan, they're free thinkers. They're not too much to the right, not too much to the left. They're more like I would probably say moderate, free thinkers, individuals. And what they want to do is practically what's best for this country. They usually just want to look at, okay, is the Republican Party going to do what's best for me, or the Democratic Party is going to do, what needs to be done. But at the end of the day, they have realized throughout this years that both parties are not making any changes in their lives. So that's why they decided to become nonpartisan. And a lot of people, especially the young generation now, they want to get away with the two-party policies. They rather be in the middle and see which one's the best candidate that represent them the best. And I'm that candidate.
Talk a little bit about what, and this is a financial question. As a Republican, there's going to be a lot of money coming into this race supporting the Republican. There's going to be a lot of money coming in from the Democrat side. How do you finance over the course of the next 4 months getting ready for November 5th?
Well, right now our strategy we're getting some donation, little donation. We have Quince for Quince, which is Quince for $15 for Quince, and we're getting a lot of that small donation from regular people that actually working, doing their daily lives, and I'm not getting a lot of funded from a big corporation. Of course, I understand the Republican Party has money, but last time I was in Washington, D.C., my understanding, what I've been told, the Republican Party is not really focusing in District 1 because of the amount of registered Democratic voters. They rather spend their money in Arizona and Texas. Democratic Party, of course, they have a machine that's just printing money. One of the things, it's not all about money as far as elections concerned. It's about people. At the end of the day, we've seen it, Kevin. A lot of people with money spend a immorious amount of money, but they never win, because the thing is, like, they can put all the ads in the world, but if they're not out there, people will not know who they are.
Again, Ron Quince joining us, a candidate for Congress in CD1. What are the issues that you're hearing from voters? Are they the same ones that we see in the polling? Immigration, border security, public safety, things like that. Are the issues essentially the same?
Absolutely. The issue is still the same. People have a lot of concerns about immigration, how open our borders are. As a matter of fact, a lot of people that are running for Congress, that is the number one issue that they're getting as well, their constituents. And of course, public safety right now is just like the safety of our individuals have changed. Our families before it's just a lot easier to walk down the street, but now it's a lot harder to walk down the street without looking around and see your surroundings. We need to change that, and of course, the factors that we need to do, instead of defunding the police, we need to fund the police. We need to help them, to control this public safety.
Again, Ron Q joining us. Your background, I think, is very compelling. I know you and I have talked a bunch over the course of the last months, but I don't know that we've talked about your background, your bio. Explain how you came to this point in time where you're running for Congress in CD1. Well,
I was 22 plus years ago. I started my own accounting firm, and it's still existing. And after once I did that, I got involved with a bunch of partners, and we started a private equity firm. And what we do is we go purchase a corporation that's needed help. We fix them up, make sure everything looks good, and then after that, of course, we run it operationally or we sell them. So I have experience when it comes to trying to fix things, because if you come aboard or if I take over a company that's like struggling, I can turn it around within a year or two and sell it and make it profitable.
I know that one of the things you have in your bio, I guess, is the belief that our political system is in dire need of change. That's a direct quote from a press release put out by your campaign. Can you talk a little bit about how one member of 435 can make a difference, can help create this dire change?
That's a very good question, Kevin. The problem that what's going on in this country is what happened is we have a lot of politicians that always keeps jumping the bandwagon, which one's popular, which one's good. If once I'm elected, I'm that voice for the people. Doesn't matter if I'll get outnumbered, but the member of Congress needs to hear my voice, and they need to hear what common folks like us that needed to make this country better. The problem that's going on right now is just it becomes a popularity contest, and it becomes a career contest that, hey, I want to get elected, and then after they get elected, they just listen to their bosses, the one that head of their parties, and whatever they decided that's the way they vote for. I'm not going to be that person, because the thing is, first of all, I don't have a boss that I need to listen to, except the 761,000 people that lives in my district. That's the only boss that I have to listen to, and my job is to make sure that their lives get better every single day, rather than getting worse, like what this other politicians is doing to us.
I want to ask you about one of the issues that you're going to be tackling in this campaign, and that is affordable housing. What are we not doing? Are we on the verge of a looming housing crisis in our state and in CD1?
Absolutely. The problem that we have right now is a lot of, and Kevin, I don't know how you've been living in Nevada, but I've been here for 20 plus years. In the average housing before was at 150 to 180,000. Now, an average house or maybe an 1,800 square feet costs almost $500,000. How can a starting family or I would probably say millennials or Gen Z can buy their own house? It is such an enormous amount. Even a rental, for instance, right now is $1,800 on an average on a one-bedroom apartment. How can a person can survive except having people like 3 families living in one house? So one of the things that my project that we want to implement is get some more federal land. Once we get more federal land, that land needs to be used for affordable housing. It doesn't have to be like a mansion or anything like 2,200 square feet, but more like a decent house that people can live in, people can start off with. The problem that's going on right now is they build these houses, they're building it so fast. A lot of people from California comes here and buy the property in cash because of the value of the properties here. It increases the value now. Then it's hard for the people that actually live here and work here in Nevada to afford to buy one, and that's not good. We need to put a law that actually restricts those people from California that coming here in Nevada and just buying property for investment use. We need to make sure that affordable housing existing by getting some more federal land, building houses that's affordable, and strict with investors trying to buy a house. We need to prioritize the first-time home buyer first.
Again, Ron Q joining us, running for Congress in CD1. What is it your campaign needs right now? I know we're still months away from early voting and Election Day on November 5th, but can you talk a little bit about what your campaign needs and how folks can reach out to you?
Well, my campaign needs right now is a lot more volunteers and a lot more support. I encourage all your listeners, you have a very smart listeners, that tell their family and their friends to come out and vote this coming November 5th. Vote for a candidate that can retire Dina Titus this coming election. I believe I'm that candidate. And if you have any more questions about my campaign, please visit quincefornevada.com and follow me on social media, Ron Quince 2024. And let's keep fighting. Let's make America better than it should be.
Ron, always good to visit with you. We'll talk again soon, and be safe and stay cool out on the campaign trail, okay?
Thanks, Kevin. Bye-bye.
There you go. Ron Quince, better known as Ron Q, independent candidate for Congress in CD1.